All right.
All right, welcome everybody. We're going to do another creator spotlight today. We have the luxurious Laurie with us today, um, otherwise known as the creator of Path of the Pale Rider. So she's part of Charter Comics, which you guys know on this channel. We've had Carissa, we've had William on here. We've had good times with them. You know, Chris and McLean and everybody over in Charter's always been great to our channel and great to everybody. So we thought we'd pay it forward a little bit. And let's see, have Lori on here because guess what? She
Thank
has a new
you.
Kickstarter. So with that being said, we're going to see it on here as well. So if you see this big old thing that we posted up here, this is the current Kickstarter for issue 4.
Yes.
Um, so Lori, I'm going to give it over to you a little bit. Kind of tell us like where you're from, what you've done, and then the most important question I ask everybody: how did you get into comics?
Oh, my story's weird.
That's okay. We do anything here.
Uh, I actually didn't start reading comics until I was in college. Hold on, let me mute my watch here because someone decided to group text. All right. I started reading in about college age. Image was already a thing. So like the books that really got me were like The Walking Dead, Invincible, The Watchmen. I loved the Alan Moore's take on, superheroes was just frightening and believable and all of that good stuff. So that's kind of what got me reading. Um, so I actually am a martial artist. I started training in Filipino martial arts back in 1997. I still train. I train in a system called Calis Illustrissimo.
Mm.
In 2017, I got involved with a production company. I built a fight team, so we were choreographing fight scenes for like music videos and short films and stuff like that. Um, and we did a short film called Catfishing, which I wrote, which was mostly like it was just 7 minutes of action. There was just like we had a fight in a stairwell. There was a gun disarm. I did a wall run. There was knife fighting. There was multiple. I ran someone over with a car. Like we had a good old time just fighting and kicking butts and taking names. Right. There's very little plot and very little acting. But the production company came to me and was like, "Do you want to write short form content for us?" And that's where I got the writing bug. So I started in production. I wrote a series called The Agency, which is like an espionage twists and turns. It's not what you think it is kind of story. And we filmed the pilot. And right when we were getting ready to do reshoots, my family relocated to Texas. So we were in
Oh,
Michigan and relocated to North Texas. We're like an hour north of Dallas. So that's where we are now. But before we moved, I had this idea for Path of the Pale Rider. What would happen if death broke, right? And I'll get
mm,
into the story some more. But I started writing this in 2018. We moved in 2019. And then I didn't know what to do with this thing. It was a full length movie. People that read it were telling me to pitch it to Netflix, but I wasn't ready for that. I had done some research about how to pitch to Netflix. It's really scary. And I was just so worried that I would lose my creative control over this story. And it's my baby, of course. So I looked into what it would take to make it into a comic book. This was actually my husband's idea, right?
mm,
So my husband was the one that was like, this story, this is a comic book. And I was like, you are right. You are absolutely right. Why didn't I think of that? So we went looking for an artist in 2020, met a few different ones, had different people involved. The pandemic was really hard on everybody. Um, and both the artists end up leaving the
mm.
project in 2020. So I almost quit right there. And I took a year off and I thought about it long and hard. Do I still want to do this? And I decided I was going to be picky. I was going to be patient. I was going to look for an artist, but I wasn't just going to just jump on the first person that was like, hey, I'll do this. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make sure they were the right fit. Um, and I met Marco DeFillo through a Facebook group called Creating or what is it called? It's like introducing comic book writers to artists, something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so that's exactly the purpose it was, is to have like artists in there and writers in there so you can meet up and find the right person for your project. So I had posted something. I don't think he put his resume on there, but then he put his portfolio up and I contacted him saying like, I am interested, like this is kind of where my story is going. He had already done parts of Mauka, which is an apocalypse series based in Hawaii. And his style just fit. It just looked like what I was looking for. Turns out he's also from Texas, and that he and I are not that far apart. So that was just a bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we go to cons together at times. We're going to, well, I'm going to be at Cowtown. He was supposed to get a table. I don't know if he's going to be able to get one at this point because he forgot. And then he's also, we're going to be at Arlington I think it's Fan Days is coming up.
Fan Days, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll both be there together at the same table for that one. But I like doing cons with Marco because we kind of like fill everybody's need at one table. If you're looking for books, we got books. If you're looking for art, we have art. We have something for everybody kind of thing. So, and it works out. We can sit there and yick about whatever. And yeah, I bring cookies. That's how it goes. So that's kind of my origin story. We published issue 1 of Path of the Pale Rider. It's only been a year. It was July of 2022. And it feels like a lifetime ago to get there. You know what I mean?
It does.
It
Well,
does.
and if you think about it, for example, we just got done with issue 3 not too long ago, and I just got my
Yeah.
issue 3 in from
Yeah.
you. But that's the thing with Kickstarters. They might take 6 months to 8 months to get all the way done from start to finish, to where, like, you're saying it's felt like a year. Well, it actually probably has been. It feels like a long time in between ones because you're so busy going back and forth trying to
Well,
get the Kickstarters done.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is like it depends on your budget and how you run, because there's a couple different models. Like people could do the comic and have it be completely made and pay out of pocket and then run the Kickstarter to try and recap the funds. I do it the other way, where I produce like 4 or 5 pages like as a preview, and then we wait for the Kickstarter funds to come in so they can run as fast as they want to go. So it's hard to shell out, $4,000, $5,000 on art without having that capital, stored up. I mean, I would like the Kickstarters to eventually get enough ahead where it's like we can be halfway done. We could be 3/4 of the way done. We can be a whole issue ahead and just keep going. That's the plan, but it just takes time. It takes time to build an audience. We're still, new-ish. Even though we've been kicking butt and taking names, like I feel like our first Kickstarter was such an anomaly in the indie community because I was so ignorant of what I was doing. It was like this ignorant bliss of, I'm going to put my Kickstarter goal for my issue number 1 of this comic that no one's ever heard of at 4,550. Like, holy, right? Like looking back at that now, I was like, wow, I had no idea what a lofty goal that was. But we killed it. We got like 5,200 on a number 1 first time ever. You know what I mean? So, but again, I think for that I was smart and I hired a publicist. Barney Smith actually helped me. Barney Smith from Story Comic, because we did an interview when I was finally ready, and he was like, "So what other interviews are you going on?" And I was like, "Oh no, I don't know anybody." And he was like, "You need a publicist. Call Jeff Haas." Jeff Haas put me on 30 shows because I was like, I don't know. He was like, "How many shows do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know, as many as it takes to be successful." And he was like, "There is no set number, Laurie. You just gotta push." And I was like, "Well, let's just keep doing them until I fund." So he's like, "All right." So he put me on like 30 shows, and we funded. But I met a ton of people in the community that way, and that was the best thing for me, because I got to meet people that could like answer my questions and become friends of mine and colleagues. And that's really where I started. Is after that first one, I became part of like the Madness group. I got a show, I got my own streaming, it's like that's where it started to go. So yeah.
That is awesome because, yeah, and you're right. I mean, our independent group is small, but it's big at the same time. Like,
Yes.
we have a lot of people that are dedicated to certain, creators, to writers, to companies, per se. For example, of course, I'm always going to be a huge Coffin guy or,
Hmm.
Ethereal. I've always been a big fan of theirs because I work with them too. But at the same time, Charter's been a big one for me as well because I've
Hmm.
known William Russell for so long, so it was just natural to start working with Charter and you're trying to see like where are they going to go. So I started reading the
Yeah.
stories, like I've read Richard's Orphan Bloodline. I kind of branched out to his stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is a little different, but to me, it was a good story. And to me, as a old comic guy, and I'm just going to tell my age is that I've been reading comics since the 1980s.
Hmm.
So I've been a fan of a long time, but it wasn't until really Alan Moore came out and Garth Ennis in the
Hmm.
90s, we're reading Preacher and reading League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and those
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
books, that kind of open up my purview of like, well, maybe everything's not always got to be superhero. Maybe
Hmm.
there's other things that could be out there to be read and seen. So that really kicked me off of not being a main two person forever. Hey, Madness.
Hey, Pops.
So the big thing for me, coming into independence and creating the relationships that you did,
Hmm.
it's going to pay off so much, and it helps out so much because our fan base grows. We get to see so many people and get to understand. Like every time I go to a convention, it's funny. Like if you go to Fan Expo is a huge thing here in Dallas.
Hmm.
If y'all ain't been to it, but I spend all day in Artist Alley, like literally the whole 6 to 8 hours of the day I'm there because that's who I want to be with. That's the friends and the networks that I want to be
Hmm.
with. And so that's what happens. Literally same thing at Cowtown, pastime. When I came out to your thing
Hmm.
a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, you invited me. I'm like, okay, let me come on out and see what you got. It's just that's the kind of network that independents have. Is that
Yeah.
it's all word of mouth. It's all really like talking and things like that. It isn't like with the big two where you have an 8,000 print run through Unknown or through anybody else. No, it's 100, couple 200, and it's
Yeah,
people that
that's
actually
it.
want to read the book, not two. That's the big thing. They want to see the art, they want to see the writing, because they want a story that's not the same.
Right, right. I just I saw my Facebook memories, my 1 year anniversary with Charter just came up and I was like, "Oh, good times." It's like getting reminiscent. I was like, "Do you remember when?" I was like harassing Chris Hayes every day. Yeah, he's like, "I've had enough of you, Lori."
Chris is good. He is so busy. I feel bad for him some
He's
days,
so
like, but he will always take over. Take a minute. He'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
They're good people. They make me laugh. They're fun. There's no drama, and that's what I love about them.
yeah,
We can hang out all day and just have a blast. I love going to pastime and tabling. I always have a good time. They always, send people my way. So if the people, went the other way through the store and didn't make it over to my table, they always make a point of saying like, "Hey, did you see that we have a local writer here. Her name's Laurie Calcaterra. Go check out her table or her book." And they have this rapport with their customers. Their customers are all like, "Yeah, yeah, like I missed
hmm
that. I'll go check it out." And their patrons are so supportive. I always feel good going to pastime knowing that people will support, indie. It's great. It's great.
and that's the thing is that's what I like about pastime is that yes, it's got the main two stuff because you're gonna always have the main two
Yeah, you
crowd,
always will.
but they cater towards independent. They
Hmm.
really cater towards that, which is nice to see because you don't always see that anywhere. And you're right; they always push the independent. Remember when we had the convention there earlier this year with William and Lauren and
Yeah.
Lacey and everybody? It's nice to see the whole charter
That was
crew
free
together.
comic book day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all there together. And you know what's funny? that's where all my variant covers came from for this issue. We had such a blast, and we were hanging out all day talking comics and talking just fun stuff. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if my next issue I had a William cover, a Lauren cover, and a Lacey cover?
Yep.
And guess what? That's what we did.
Hey, and I backed all of your covers this time. So
Thank you.
because and because
No,
because
they're
Lauren and
also
Lacey.
different and good.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like it's hard to pick one. They're all
Well, what got me was when Lacey did the one for Psycho Sal. Just that
mhm.
design, I was like, dude, that is creepy, but I
Yes.
like it, and so I like that her style is always the same wherever she goes. So like the
Yeah.
new cover for yours, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Haunting. It's
It
just
is.
it's haunting. If when you look at the image, we'll bring it up, but it's just there's skulls and eyeballs, but there's like beautiful floral it's like when she and I had talked about it, it was I let her read the issue of what's coming in issue 4. And we talked about how it's the definitive end of what was normal. That's the end in this issue. There is then all of that normalcy goes away. We burn it down. And then there's the birth of the new norm.
Hmm.
It's now a new world. We have started time over, right? That's why it's
Yeah.
like when you read the comic, it says 1YA. We have basically started the clock over the day that Death went missing. Everything changed, right? So
Yep.
Lacey just built this beautiful cover of all the secret imagery that I have and like the symbols and um it's just haunting. The birth of the new with the beautiful flowers, almost like she's been compared to Peach Momoko.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with
Yep.
her watercolor style.
Yep.
And her and I went looking at Peach's art and I was like, "Oh, look at this." And it's like, "Yep, this is Lacey. This is Lacey." So, just beautiful cover, like I said, beautiful haunting, foreshadowing. You're like, "This means something." And it does. It all has meaning to it, which is cool.
And
Mhm.
Lauren's is the same way too. Like you see
Bring them up.
Lauren.
I'll put them on the screen so people can
Yeah.
see what we're talking
Yeah.
about. Might as well.
Exactly. All right. Let's see.
There we go. So there's Lacey's cover.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Where it's like there's the imagery. The red disc is like when your heart stops. It's all
Yep.
like the imagery of the heart monitor that people wear on the outside to let people know if you're living or not. And the green one. So like here's the green versus the death. But it's like things are dying and things are blooming. And then this eyeball that's looking right at you, like make a decision, make a choice, something like that. So it's just beautiful. And then here's Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
Now, she and I talked about this too. It's always funny to me to let people read the script and see what pops out. And so what popped out to Lauren is the treatment of the undead. They just kind of want to continue doing their thing. Even if they can't anymore. Like this poor little girl has no job, but she just really wants to eat a hot dog.
Hmm.
Um, and then the collector van in the background. So I didn't even give people the pitch. So the whole thing with Path of the Pale Rider is that your body can die, but your soul doesn't leave upon death. So you're stuck in your body as it decays.
Yep.
But you're not a cannibalistic zombie. You're not trying to eat brains. You're just you. It's me, it's Nathan. We're the same. But as your brain basically rots in your skull, you get forgetful, you get violent, you get detached. But you are you for that short period of time before your descent into madness. So people, animals, insects, nothing gets to leave. There is no death anymore. There's only decay. So where we are in the story, the undead the government has come in and put in place laws that will separate the living from the dead. So as soon as your heart stops beating, they're all wearing these discs. And if you look at the little girl, she's wearing one and it's red.
Hmm.
And it's green and it has like the EKG line that goes across and it has a speaker on it. So there's an audio component to it as well. And then when your heart stops beating, it turns red and it alarms. and it flat lines kind of like this, where it's just a line going across. So, um, yep. And then the collectors, the guys in the unmarked, well, this one is marked. It's a van. They come take you out. They come pick you up. They take you to somewhere. We think we know where, but it's probably not where they're taking them.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, like in the I think it was issue 2 or 3, where they're dropping them off. It's supposed to be this nice little place, for all the dead, but it's like,
Oh yeah, the
you,
commercial. The
yeah,
commercial.
and
Yeah.
I was like, no, that ain't, no, you know what's gonna happen. They're
Yeah,
gonna
like, you know that's not real, right?
exactly like it's funny because yeah, and that was the thing when I first read the story. So I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking at like from the perspective like, okay, how is this different from The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of similarities. The main difference, and you already hit on, is that they still know who they are. They
Mhm.
still know what they're doing, which is funny because that goes back to Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead, where they knew who they were. They just had no control over what they were doing. You could see the cognizant like ability, like they're still there. They just don't know what to do. And but what was cool about this is they're walking, talking, like they're like nothing
Yeah,
different. They're just dead,
they're
you
just
know.
dead.
And then, but the other thing that was a key thing that I looked at the differences was it's also animals and insects. That's the
Yes.
one thing that they really never did in A Walking Dead is talk about animals and insects and things like that. So I thought it was a good little play. I'm not going to ruin the plot of issue 1, but
Yeah.
let's just say there's something big in there and it's dead, and it's going to
Yeah.
cause a lot
Yeah.
of issues.
Yeah. He's a fan favorite too, so you'll see him around. Um, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of him. But that's the thing is now when you have undead animals, it messes up the food chain,
Correct.
right? Because
Yep.
that burger that you want to eat is still moving or impossible to get. Because if you have a cow that you've slaughtered, but it's still moving, how do you butcher the damn thing? It weighs as much as a car. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yep.
Um, it just becomes a major issue. So between like if you eat meat, meat becomes very scarce
Yep.
and moving and disgusting, right? And then insects, now pesticides do not work. It's just very difficult to maintain a crop. They don't stop eating because they're a lower life form in my mind. Like they
Mm.
wouldn't understand that they're undead. They just, die and keep going. So there's a gigantic swarm of them and they just decimate a crop because you can't stop them. One of the posts I have, I think it's issue 2. I think it's issue 2, issue 3. It's issue 3 where they're talking about Jude has his journal entry in the front. And
Yeah.
it says like food is an issue, like kids don't want to eat burgers that move, nor do cows want to be, they still move after they're slaughtered. And then he says something about like crops are a problem, insects, pesticides don't work, and that a farmer tried to burn a swarm and burnt his entire crop and his
Crap.
house down.
Yeah.
And that people aren't equipped for this. And when they're hungry, they're not making good decisions. So that's
Mm-mm.
this, it's the whole human element is in here where it's like you have chaos, people don't know what's going on. They're hungry, they're tired, they're getting run over by, you know what I mean? Like undead are running people over their cars and shooting people in the street because they just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Is it even important to be alive if you can continue as undead? So it's a problem. So but what Lauren picked out of the story was the treatment of these now new minority, right?
Yep.
And right now they're a minority, but they won't be a minority for long,
No, because you
right?
know what's going to happen. Eventually,
Oh
the
yeah.
food runs out, things run out, the dead's going to overtake everything, and
The dead
then
start fighting back. They figure out that if you don't have a heartbeat, you're on their side. So they just go
yeah,
take people out.
exactly. And that's the funny part. Like there's the one scene where the undead gets out and just shoots the guy in the head.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I don't care. He just does it and then just walks away.
Yes.
It's kind of a situation where it's like there is no ramifications for your actions anymore.
What are they
You,
gonna do? Kill you again?
exactly. You're already dead.
Like they can't make it any worse.
I mean,
So,
even if they chop off limbs or things like that, guess what? It's
oh,
still alive, or it's
yes.
still undead. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but we saw that in issue 2 when Jude St. Clair goes to this town called Santa Claus. I'm sorry, I got a weird sense of humor. It's a real place, mind you, in Arizona. It's a ghost town, but it's there. And in the story, it's a community and they don't allow undead into the town, but they will use them as signage. They will use them as warnings. So they're like staked outside the walls.
Hmm.
And we've seen that before in like zombie movies and stuff where like zombie deterrent, but these are people. So as Judas walking into the town, some of these unfortunate undead people are asking for help, like help me and get me down from here. But it's just
Yeah.
another Tuesday to Jude St. Clair because that's normal now. You know what I mean? It's like, ugh.
Yeah, and the sad part is like they know what's going on. I mean, they would be the one
Uh-huh.
thing if they were a mindless zombie and not know what's going on. They just have a desire to kill or eat or something. But since
Right.
they're still human beings, they're still alive.
Mm.
They just can't die.
Well, I mean, eventually they'll probably not know what's going on as they rot.
Hmm.
But there's a time when they know exactly what's happening, and it's scary. It's scary. I mean, like, in issue number 3, we had a child that was picked up by the collectors, an undead
Yep.
child ripped out of her mother's arms because she's undead. And guess what? The collectors take everybody for the good of the living community. They just take them out. So it doesn't matter, you know? So it's just a lot of ethical questions that come up in Path of the Pale Rider because of how the world works. So we have fun with that. It's dark, but we also have humorous moments because you have to laugh at some of it, otherwise it's too dark.
Especially the jail cell pieces. You know that the humor with the old guy in this jail cell. I mean,
Oh, peeing in the
oh yeah. He's like, oh
Dwayne
you
Fink. It's just like this walking, talking crazy man. He's alive and he just doesn't care that there's an apocalypse going on because he just needs to find another beer. Um, he's hilarious. You're gonna see more of him um after we get back after the time jump. He's an interesting character and he knows something.
he does, and he knows kind of like what happened and what causes things, but
He
yeah,
might.
but the thing is like nobody believes him, and so
Right. And that's what they were there's that one panel where
yep.
they're together. Finally, it's quiet and it's just the two of them. And Jude says, "You know how this all started, don't you?" And he says, "Yeah, but no one ever believes me when I tell them."
Mm,
Right.
yep.
And then I
And
torture the fans and I drop us into a flashback.
yeah, exactly. And it's like we go to the whole issue of like what's going on, what happened before,
Yeah.
which is actually a good, it's kind of like a good prequel issue. It's like, hey, this is what life looked like before, and then you
Yes.
went through the different stages of the
Yes.
deterioration of what's happened, like, and it happened so fast,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is a common theme within all zombie books. But
Mhm.
so the hard part is making it different, and the difference is like you saw people being ripped away, you saw
Yep.
things like that, like the dehumanization of these people, even just
Yes.
because they had died. Um,
But I
and
mean, it's such a tough decision. And I honestly would never want to make that decision. But I mean, these people are dangerous.
they
They
are,
are shooting people in the street, they are running them over with cars. Because their thought process is different. It's like being in a community where everybody is mentally unstable. And they don't care if you die. So would you want to raise your kids there?
no. I
No.
mean, I
So
mean,
it's
it's
so
the
hard.
conscious piece of, do you stay in that situation, because you feel bad for them, or do you leave because you want something better for your people that are still living in your family?
Right. But where do you go? There's nowhere to go
That's the
if there are undead people there. You are not safe.
correct.
But again, it hits all the undead differently. So there's different times where um oh, Pops, that would be hilarious. You want to be the voice of Dwayne Fink? We could make that happen. We should do that. We'll talk about that. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Totally lost my train of thought.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Well, we could talk about William Russell's cover.
Yes. And
What do you
actually,
think about that one?
of course, I grab all of Williams stuff, but
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about like this cover. This would look really good on a piece of wood, like a burnt piece of wood, so to speak. Like an
Yes, it
etching kind
would.
of thing.
Which is funny because I'm looking into having some wood covers made.
Oh, that'd be badass. Sign me up.
You ruined your own surprise, Nathan.
Hey, I'm good at that. That's the only problem when you've been reading comics as long as I have and looking at covers.
Yeah. Well, Marco's covers are all available in metal. So the A covers, we started the metal covers with number 2. So 2, 3, and 4. And this campaign, you can actually add on a metal of number 1 if you wanted to collect. And then I think I'm going to switch over to wooden covers starting the next campaign that we do, like issue number 5. But we always could come back to ones that are fitting, like this one, and do an exclusive, like, hey, this one, I mean, it looks like a wanted poster, doesn't it?
It
That's what we
does,
were going
yeah.
for. So there was sepia tones, and I was like, this would be great in wood. So I think I need it on my wall. Just saying.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I've seen a couple people been trying to do that lately, make wooden covers, and every one of them are different, how they come
Yeah.
out. But it depends, like, do you want it burnt in or do you want it to be like colorful? Like if you can always go the standard, wood, black and white, or you can add some color to it. But like this one, you can see
This one.
this has the reds in it. It has the different
Yeah.
colors in the background, but it's still in the forefront. It's still black and white.
Right.
And actually, I want to talk about that for a second. So just so the people might can see something. So like this issue, issue number
Yes.
1 that I have, this is a black and white issue that you
Yes.
gave me. And so I'm a huge black and white guy. So like, I mean, I've got all the Walking Dead from 1 to the end, all in black and white. And I've always been a huge black and white. So like, I would love to see the rest of the series in black and white.
Really?
Like 2,
It's
3.
possible we have them.
Exactly, because we all know how this works. It's literally a file. It's that started as black and white on pencils typically, and then colors gets added to it. But what I was thinking is like 2 and 3 were in color.
Yes.
Was number 1 done in color fully?
It was not, because we didn't have the budget for it. We were brand new, and couldn't afford the color. But we are going to be releasing it in color. This is actually the last campaign that I'm releasing it in black and white. Our colorist, Matt Chambers, and I have already had a conversation. We have plans for him to color that issue, and I have already re-lettered it. Because that was my first comic ever lettering, and I learned so much at doing it. And after that and going forward, you can kind of see my progression in lettering, reading the 3 comics. So I went back and I re-lettered issue number 1, so it's more in line with my style now. So it's more cohesive. But so after 4, we're going to be doing a trade paperback, and you'll get the color pages for issue number 1. You'll see that's the first time you'll see them in the trade paperback. So, but then after that, if you want a floppy for number 1, it'll be in color. I might do a special run of all black and white just for you, Nathan. We'll see. We'll see about that. I've never considered it, but
we talked to Chris and say, "Hey, Chris, can you sell this for everybody?"
Oh, he can sell anything.
Exactly. Yeah, like I said, I'm a huge black and white guy. That goes back to the magazines, like even Vampirella that was originally in black and white. It's just,
yeah.
To me, that's the artwork comes through there. Not saying anything against colored artwork. I've got a lot of colored as
line
well.
work.
But that just seeing that line work, and because I buy original art just like that for that reason, because I like seeing the line work and the time it goes through to do it. Same way with the inks, that get done. Sometimes, inks can go either way. Inks could be very good or very bad. Like you could lose everything that you want. that you
You know
have?
what though? Issue number 1, there's some really bloody spots, and I want to see those in color because I think they will hit differently if people can see. Like there's one of the last pages, I'm not going to say what happened, but there's a giant blood pool,
Yep.
right? And Jude St. Clair's looking into the blood pool at his reflection, talking to himself about what happened and crying about it. It's just a black and white pool. But if people understood that he's looking into a blood pool and there's
Hmm.
pieces of flesh floating in that pool, I think it's going to hit different.
It definitely will. I mean, that's the thing too. Is like you are limited in black and white because of the
Yeah.
white grayscale. Like
Yeah.
you can make the inks bigger, the darker, lighter. Pencils darker or not, but it still comes down to it's still just black and white. And so
Mhm.
sometimes the color that comes through it will make it pop, so to speak. So
Right. Right.
that really helps out, especially on covers. Like we've all seen how covers work. You don't see a lot of black and white covers anymore because of that reason. Like people want to see that pop, that go
Mhm.
forth, and so, and I mean, and then it's huge. Like if you look at issue number 2, you've got all the colors on there, and so that makes it like if this is black and white, you might lose some of this detail,
Oh,
like
you
here,
will. 100%
because
you
of that,
will.
because it's only in color that you see some of this stuff, you
Right.
know, and that's what,
And that makes like that character's name is Jimmy,
yep,
and he just pops out of the silhouette of Big James. So the color, that line of color really emphasizes that. And I think, we lose that for sure. It just kind of flattens it out without that. Marco's covers are all, yeah, his covers are just insane. Like I can't, he just levels up every time. This new cover that he did, I was looking at it like my brain hurts. Um, just looking at it. I don't know how he figured out the perspective of that house. I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I know.
Um,
And it's cool. Like you see all the people that's in there, like all the little things that you're on in there.
mhm,
Like you're really gonna have to look for details. It's like you look at the house, you see the light, you see the pieces and parts in there, and that's
yeah,
the subtlety of storytelling. Is like these are symbols for something that could happen down the road, or it could be in the issue. Symbology is always huge for comic books for that reason.
yes. Well, and if you look at the zombie rioters, they are wearing armbands with the patch. This is the legitimate patch we were wearing in the first short film with the riots. So if you watch some of the short films,
Hmm.
the first one we did has this specific patch right in it. If you look at Jude St. Clair, he's already wearing his red and black what you would call it shirt. What's that?
Hmm.
Flannel,
Yeah.
right? So he's becoming more of what he's going to be in this issue. And he's wearing his mother's locket.
Yeah.
So we're telling you a ton. There's the symbol on the front of the house as well, which you will see all over the place. It's been popping up here and there, but like the further we go in the story, it is much more prevalent. So the symbol means something. And I think you could probably figure it out, at this point. But there's just symbols built everywhere into this image and into the story that just show up. You're going to see them on pages, and maybe you don't notice them at first, but they're there. So subconsciously, you're like, you'll see them.
And that's why I always recommend reading a book 2 to 3 times
Yes,
for that reason, because you're going to catch something you did not catch earlier in
right.
it. And so what I typically do is I'll read the issue, 2 or 3 times just by itself. But then
Hmm.
when the next issue is coming out, I'll pick up that issue again and read it again just to see the tie-ins and how it
Yeah,
works together.
yeah.
Um, and
I go
then,
back to the beginning. I start from the beginning. I go back
yep,
to one, and I read, all the way up to the new one, just so it's all fresh in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
yeah.
Um,
Can I tell you, it was hard to do that with The Walking Dead when we were at 100 plus issues at
oh,
one
that's
point.
different.
And I was like, I think I'm, because I had taken a break for a little bit, because
Yeah,
it was good. It was where the alphas and all of them had showed up, and I'm like, all
the
right, this is good.
whispers.
Yeah, I'm like, this is starting to get there now. Let me take a break and I'll wait for the no, all the trade paperback. So I finally went back and read it, and I'm like, oh, there's little nuances all the way back in like the early 50s and 60s issues about these people. We just didn't
Mm-hmm.
see it until the end.
Right.
And I'm still pissed off at Kirkman with the way he ended the series. You know,
Oh, with the comic book series
yeah, the
or the
comic books.
show?
Well, I
Okay.
stopped watching the show after they killed Carl. I'm like, wait a
That made
minute.
no sense at all to me. I was like, all right. I mean, like the show had jumped the shark so many times. And
Hmm.
just because I'm a fan of the comic, I kept going back and watching, and I would just get angry at times. I don't know how many times you'd be watching and I'd be like, did nothing happened? Nothing happened in this episode. It was just fluff. And I'm like, I don't I don't need to watch them gather seashells by the seashore.
Oh, I mean, that first season was hard to watch because that was the first like two issues of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like you did a whole season on a couple of issues. Then season two tried to put like 20 books in one season. And I'm like, it's kind of ridiculous, some of
Yeah.
the ways. It's like, especially with to this day, every time I look at it was the way Carol was treated, in the
Yep.
show versus the way the comic portrayed her. Because like you made her into Billy Badass, but guess what? She was not that in the comic.
No, she just lost her mind and went to kiss a zombie.
Yep, and she did, and it was gone. It's like,
It was
and
like,
that was
"Oh,
in.
bye, girl."
Yeah, you're done. You know.
Yep. So, they that's the hard part of making a book into adapting it into a show. A lot of times they insist on changing the story so that it's something new that the reader hasn't seen before and they could still be surprised, but they forget that we don't want that.
No,
Just want
and
what's in
that's
the book live because it's really cool to see them like burn down a barn and be surrounded by walkers and have the action. That's what we want. Don't change the story. Don't change the story.
exactly. I mean,
Sorry.
I will
Rant
say
over.
I got one more to add to that. There's been one recently that they've done very well, and that was Sandman on Netflix.
Salmon
So
went great. Last of Us was great too.
Last of Us was good. I mean, they're
That's
staying
good.
pretty damn close to the
Yes.
source material.
Yes.
There was a couple of differences, like how Death looked, but even Garth Ennis said in those guys, like our Neil Gaiman said, I never portrayed Death in any way. She just happens to look this way.
Right.
There's no actual death issue. So I'm like, okay, I can see it. Like Preacher, dude, Seth Rogen did amazing with Preacher, but what
Mhm.
happened was is people got lost into the story. So
Mhm.
by the time they finally found God, people had already stopped watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I had stopped. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what's going on. It was convoluted, but the books are great.
Oh
Books are
yeah.
great.
Yeah. All right. Now you know what you need now though.
What do I need?
You need a
Tattoo?
zombified cocaine bear cover.
No. Well, I put it here. I didn't zombify him, but I was like, do you
Yep.
like Book of Eli,
Uh
Good,
huh.
Bad, and the Ugly, Walking Dead, and Cocaine Bear? That's pretty much, you're gonna like us. I could have put more that, I'm a big Fallout fan, so there's a lot of
Oh
like the
yeah.
Fallout aspect of walking the wasteland and picking up stuff and using it and stuff like that. And Mad Max, we got some Mad Max crazy antics in this. We just haven't gotten that far yet. Issue 5 is absolutely insane. Marco and I were looking ahead about what's coming. Issue 4 is a hard one. Um, it's really a bad time for Jude St. Clair. It's gonna rock his world. And then everything burns down. Like I said, literally, we just burn it down. But five is when we catch up in time to where he is with Dwayne Fink. So you're gonna find some information, and then we burn some more things down and light things on fire and kill off a ton of people and end on a cliffhanger. So it's like that one is nuts.
See, I like stories like that because I mean it keeps you on your toes. Like you're trying to figure out, it makes you in a position where you're trying to find out what's going on, but you really still don't know what's going on. You're
Right.
you
Well, and
know.
do you trust the source? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We know Dwayne Fink is kind of crazy. The things he's gonna say is gonna sound like hooey. It's gonna sound nuts. But is it true? We don't know until Jude acts on it, and we'll see. We'll see. Never know.
well,
I already told you where we're going. You just had to pay attention.
exactly. And the funny part too is like, it's crazy. He might be crazy on it, but think about it. The dead are up and walking and talking. How crazy is
Exactly.
that? How crazy is
That's
that?
exactly what Jude tells him. Where the guy Dwayne is just like, don't laugh when I say it, and Jude's just like, sir, I have looked at every single conspiracy theory there is out there. The dead walk. You know what I mean? What can you say that is any crazier than that? You
Uh,
know, he researches like aliens and virus and government and contaminated food and the rapture, and it could be anything.
and
So
you kind of alluded to that in the story too. Like he was trying to look through it through initially
yes.
three. It's like, all right, you saw like there was the preacher part. There's the
Mhm.
people being pulled out, and then the end. The ending is really sad. Though. It really is a sad ending
Yeah.
for
Oh
Jude.
Lord. The
Um,
first 4 pages of issue 4, did you get a chance to see them?
I'm not yet.
They're here in this GIF. I warn people because if they haven't read 3, um, it's kind of a spoiler,
Yeah.
obviously, because of where we end up, but I'm not gonna explain nothing. I just want you to see them.
Mm, yeah. And that works right in line, with the last storyline. Like he's got to deal with this
This
part.
page
Yeah.
is just heartbreaking, and that's why I put that down, like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Because I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, the rules are the rules of that time.
what are they
You,
gonna do? You'll have
it's
to
like,
wait and find out.
do you keep her hidden, or do you do what you're supposed to do and give her up? No, most common sense thing is like you figure it out. That's why I felt bad for when the girl got pulled away from her mom.
Yeah,
It's like there's nothing the mom could do, but she's
nothing
sitting there
she could
trying to
do.
pull her. And, she's trying to hold her hand and everything. So it's like I'd be the same way with my kids. Somebody trying to take my
Mhm,
kid. No, I'm gonna be fighting.
right? How far do you go? That's the question.
I'll go as far as I have to go.
Well, we're gonna see how far Jude and his family go. We'll definitely see that in this issue. They're gonna have to deal with that. And of course, in those 4 pages, I don't know if you noticed, but it's she's standing there, and the dad and a neighbor walk in. We don't know how much the neighbor saw, but it's pretty obvious of her situation. So if you saw anything, they're in trouble.
It's not gonna end well because I mean
It will not.
because every time somebody tries to do something like that, and guess what happens? Somebody finds out. Somebody figures it out. That, oh, something's different. And so,
Yeah.
what do? They try to hide from it.
Mhm.
Um, so
And
they'll get
and
caught.
Jude's mom is deaf, which is why he can communicate in American Sign Language, right? Which we learned in issue number 2 as he
Mm,
was shit talking in the poker game. Um, so we learned that about her, and then she's obviously has a right to be concerned that no one will be able to understand her, or she won't be able to understand what they're doing. If they're going to come get her, where are they going to take her? How can she communicate what she wants if they don't sign?
yep.
Um, so that's another huge, we've seen it before, but like disabilities in the apocalypse, like how they affect you, it's not easy. So
Uh, I'm excited. I can't wait for the next one.
you
Um,
see, we unlocked a poker card. I was so
I
excited for this.
did. I love those. Well, it's like I remember when I getting other Kickstarter. Like my things are always coins. I love coins.
Uh-huh.
They're always fun. Poker chips are always great. Poker cards are even better because you know what? Not everybody does that. It's something different. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I
uh,
collect really cool decks of cards.
Mhm.
So this was right up my alley. This was actually Pops's idea. He was like, "You need something that people can collect." And I was like, "I want to build a deck of cards." And he was like, "That's perfect." You know, because we can unlock every 50 backers, we can unlock a new card.
Mhm.
So we'll unlock 2. We might get to 3. We had 118 backers last time. We have more backers now than we did last campaign. So we could get to 150, and that would be cool. I doubt we're going to get to 200. That would be a miracle.
That would be a freaking amazing.
That would be amazing. And if we all want to come along for the ride, we got lots of fun stuff to do. So please come join us. But yeah, so here's the King of Hearts that we unlocked last time. Here's the Ace of Hearts. The next 2 cards will be revealed when we get to 100 backers, 150 backers, and on. And we'll do this every campaign until we have a full deck of cards. So,
That's a lot of cards. 52 cards.
well, we got lots of campaigns. We got lots of issues. There's 12 in the first arc, 12 in the second arc, and 12 in the third arc. We're
All
gonna be
right. Well,
doing this a while.
that'll make my next question then. So as you got 36 issues in the hopper for the storyline.
Mhm.
Um, so that means do you have 36 issues written and scripted out or planned out with Marco already, or is that where the different arcs, per se, different stages are?
I have written. Well, all of the first arc is done.
Hmm.
I have written 3/4 of the second arc. I have the last act to pen out, and I know how it goes. I just haven't put it on paper. I haven't had the time. And then I know how the third arc ends. So we have to deal with how I end them at the end of the second arc, which is devastating. I'm not nice to my characters, Nathan. I just
You shouldn't be. They're your characters.
I feel bad. But yeah. So there is an end. There is a definite end to the series, and we're working our way towards it. But that's I think makes excellent writing, because if you have
Hmm.
a big old arc and you're able to work towards that ending from issue 1, then there's huge character development. You can develop lots of foreshadowing and fan payoff. And when you get to the ending, it's a great resolution and everybody feels fulfilled. You're not ending it in the middle of whatever weird idea that you meandered to, like Lost.
Yep.
Right? I want mine to be a Breaking Bad ending. I want it to be powerful, fulfilling, haunting, and I have an epilogue even. So we're going there someday. Maybe I'll be 85 and we'll finally finish this thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you think about it. You've done 3 issues. You're on the 4th one already within a year. That's pretty damn good. You
Thank you.
know.
It's been
Um,
like 2 years, right? So 2022, 2023. So I'm doing like 2 issues in a year. We're trying to pick up speed. That's why we brought on Matt Chambers, so we can
mm,
go quicker. We just need everybody else to be on board. It's hard when like a printer disappears in the middle of printing your print job. That happened on number 2, and I was like, well, what the heck? Where, how far, how many? Where do I do? You know what I mean? And that postponed fulfillment for like 2 months. And I was
oh
like, I
yeah.
just have to move on with my life. Like either print
Mm,
my books or tell me that you're not going to print them and I can move on with my life. Right.
yeah.
Um, so that happened. And then last issue, unfortunately, we started with a one colorist, and Marco and I finished the book, and she was about halfway through and then disappeared. So that's why we brought on Matt, and Matt had to
Mm,
start at the beginning because his color style and hers were different. It would have looked funny, and we are not about producing a half-assed product.
no.
We're just not. So, but Matt's schedule was clear, and he was turning in like 1 or 2 pages a day to get it done. So he was committed, and he very much is a part of the team at this point. So I think we have the right people in place. And as long as, nothing blows up, knock on wood, we can actually deliver when we say we deliver. Because Marco and I hit our deadline every time. It's all the other moving parts that kind of get in the way, which is frustrating as a creator because I want to deliver when I say I'm going to deliver.
Yeah, but see, the thing is you communicate to us as backers, so we understand
Yeah,
what's going on. That's
of
the
course.
number one thing against any Kickstarter. Period is communication.
Right.
You don't ghost everybody for 6 months, you know, and you might know who I'm talking about. And then we've been over a year of fulfillment, still nothing. Now we're going on a year and a half. So that kind of stuff is what puts a bad taste in people's mouths for Kickstarters,
Mhm.
because you're told one thing and you never get it, but then you see all these other companies that do it and they do just fine. But
Right.
the catch is the one thing that affects everybody is the printer. The printer
Yep.
affects everybody. So, and there's only so much they can do. They can only print
Right.
out so much. Even like the bigger companies, they have their own printer. Guess what? They still have to go through the same issues,
They
especially,
still have a line, right? They
yep,
still have printer jams and issues and need to fix things. There's still quality control, right? And
yep.
then there's shipping. McLean always looks at my books. He gets them first to make
Hmm.
sure that they're legit and that nothing is misprinted. He makes sure that everything I ordered came in the box. So he's another set of eyes before I get them. And I 100% appreciate McLean. He does so many good things. And for some reason, the program that I use, and when I upload the PDFs to my system and his system, they don't like each other. So he has
Mm.
to like manipulate them again, even though it's like it's a PDF. Well, his doesn't read them. You know what I mean?
Ah,
It's
okay.
so bizarre. But he goes above and beyond to make sure that my books are pristine. And McLean, if you ever see this, thank you, man. I appreciate you. I feel bad though, because I'm always like, McLean, where's my books? McLean, where's my books? McLean, where's my books? And I'm like, just tell me to shut up if I annoy you, because seriously, I get it. Just be like, Laurie, not today. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
And I've never ever got that from McLean or from Chris. Like
No,
literally, there's never been one time where I called them or talked to them. They're like, I don't have time today, because they always make the time, and that's the
they
thing. Is
do.
like, with charter and like, and that's why our independent companies that we work with today, they're here to take care of people, take care of the fans, take care of the customers to get you what you want. And
Right.
so you really, I mean, and just gonna be honest, you got to shop around. You really got to shop around
Hmm.
on like who you support and what you do, because you just don't know. You got to look at
Hmm.
quality. Quality is a big thing. It's like if I get a book in and it's bent in half because it was put into a roller. Okay, this ain't a subscription service from Marvel or DC like it used to be in the '90s. I expect it to be, okay, it's going to be flat. It's going to be in a bag and board, the standard, and it's
Hmm.
somebody bubble wraps it or puts it in something, and or they do some kind of thing to protect the book. That's just
Yeah.
normal stuff that we all do. I mean, I've been selling
Yeah.
comics for almost 25 years. You want that book just like you would give it if you wanted it.
Right.
And
And
so,
that's what people have to, I don't know. You just have to find the people that are passionate. We're out there where it's like, I want you to have an experience when you open my comic. I stamp skulls on my boxes. So
yep,
my Gemini mailers show up and they have a skull head on them. So it's me, right? That's
yep.
a that's one of our stretch goals from last campaign right there is a 4x6. That's William Russell's cover. Everybody gets extras. So there's always I love doing this. So on your survey from me, there's always an additional question. It's some random thing I ask you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was like Beats Bears Battlestar Galactica last time. And then this time it was like pick a color, red, white, or black. And it's like,
Yep.
what is she doing? But you get like stickers that mean something, or like I made, I don't know, 95 origami bears last time, was putting them in bags like, yeah, this is funny, because I'm passionate, and that's the kind of thing that I would want to open up as well, like getting the extras, getting the stickers and the secret stuff. And I send thank you cards with Morse code on them. And
Mm-hmm.
um having the riddles on the back covers. That's fun to me. I want people to participate with this stuff. I want them to solve the riddles, find the groups, find the bonus material. You know what I mean? I want to know who found that video. It's bonus material. It's a hidden video. So if you solve the third riddle on the back of the cover, it'll take you to bonus content. You'll know which one it is because it's creepy as
Yeah,
so there's just I spend so much time on this stuff because I love it. And that's what I want to experience as a customer. You know what I mean? When I go and I back indie, I'm looking for that kind of experience. So wow me, dazzle me. I'll come back for
Exactly.
more.
Well, 101, it's like, hey, how good of a salesman are you with your book? If you are a good salesman, you'll bring that customer back every time,
Right.
and that's the main thing, is that like this part here, I want to see you destroy a pumpkin.
Oh,
You
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it once we get to 6,000. We're gonna do a slice and dice event. So we did this last campaign. Um, I poll the fans. They get to tell me which weapon they want me to use. I have a few in my arsenal, right? And they get to name the ill-fated fruit. So last time we named a watermelon King Joffrey Baratheon
know?
because F that guy, right?
Oh yeah.
And I sliced it and it smashed it into smithereens. We had a soup can and a sock experience, and that was hilarious. Like I did this on a live stream, and I would really love to build a Gallagher inspired giant wooden mallet and just have this giant destructive radius to just destroy things. So it's all gonna end up in my pool. I'll have to fish it out, and like it'll be all pumpkins growing in my grass next year. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be so much fun, and I'll do it in a Pikachu suit or a dress. Or I don't know. I like to go over the top, right? We're over the top here.
We are.
So yes. Oh yes. We want to talk about this too. Hold on, let me scroll to the bottom. I always have friends with campaigns.
Correct.
Right now, the Madness channel, which I'm on, and Nathan, we should talk about this. As a creator, you can bring your show over to a Roku channel. That's the Madness, and you can have your content on a Roku channel right now. And I'm selling smash ads. So basically, I'll write your name on a pumpkin, like a dis, like a so, like a dis. I'll write your name on a pumpkin, and then I'll smash it in my Pikachu suit, and I'll play it in the beginning of my show as an advertisement. So we'll advertise your show or your LCS, your comic book, whatever, and then I'll send you a copy as well, so you can play it for advertising. So, but people can go check out like the Roku. There's so many things. There's PDFs. You can get drawn into Path of the Pale Rider, which you cannot actually get drawn into Path of the Pale Rider on my own Kickstarter, but you can on the Roku's. Figure that out. So I have all sorts of great comics down here. Keto is in their last day, I think. So you got to check them out. So,
Yeah.
and this will grow too. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. Like if you want to see our bios, there's Marco, there's Matt, and here's Rachel. That's our team. We work well together. Here's all the short films that we have done. We're going to be
Everybody
adding
needs to
another
watch
one.
those.
Yeah,
Those can be hilarious, but at the same time, it can be damn right creepy.
yeah. The third one is the creepy one. Here's the one where I get run over by the car.
Yep.
The dead don't fucking die. Look at me. Look at me. Put the phone.
And there you have it. We've spent all day asking people what they think. There's some truly wild accusations out there, and let me say, we really have no idea.
Go to commercial.
Was that Richard?
No, that's my husband, Dominic.
Ah, okay. It looks like Richard,
Yeah, it's not Rick Dorino. Rick, you've been summoned. Now you have to be in my short films.
Yes.
Promises, just back it already. Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, this one is the scary one.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have the moment where like the undead underground. And the cool part about these, for anybody that's watching, is they're fan interactive. So like the people that were acting in that are all people that read Path of the Pale Rider and participate on the socials. So I'll put out a call and be like, here's what we're tackling in the next short film. Who wants to be in it? And so people who want to do video can. Like Alex and Brian just happened to be in town when I was shooting, so they got to be in it. This is Tanya. Tanya sent in her video. So
we've been planning this for. Yes, I know.
this
There's
one.
like
This is Tanya.
You know, we've been
And she just sent me as a WeTransfer, and I can edit it in. And then for everybody else who's kind of camera shy or maybe not tech savvy, I always give an option where you can be in it, but just as a still photo. So this is a fan. Hold on. This fan. Fan. Nope, that one's not. That's Dawn. So I was like, I need y'all to lay on the floor and pretend to be dead. They're like, really? And I was like, yeah. So it's fun to, be a part of the world, see yourself in it. And this one has a little surprise ending, right? So we killed everybody, and now it's like, ooh, but this is Path of the Pale Rider. You don't stay dead.
yeah.
Right? So the end question mark. So that one was a lot of fun. This is the one where we started. Whoops. Stop, please. I love this one because it's like, yeah, it's so great.
When it comes to an inspired and privileged retirement, Pine Fox is where you want to be. Quality of life, peace of mind, harmony, it's all here. The setting is
I love that where it's like, all right, what? And it looks like just this nice community, right? Until we drop you into a riot.
The choice is clear. Pine Fox.
So it's just a great juxtaposition of this white picket fence community versus the riots and unrest that's really going on in the world. So there's a lot of that. And it's like you don't really see any of the faces of the people in the community until right here. Then you actually see people, right? Like,
Okay, Mom.
little undead
For
girl.
more information, call 216-555-3323 or visit pinefox.com today.
There's going to be more from Pine Fox. Don't you worry. There's going to be more. So there's just lots of stuff that we can build on. But I love these because not only do the fans get to participate and help shape the world of Path of the Pale Rider, we really can go in any direction and talk about things that Jude St. Clair can't show us in the comic book because he's doing something specific.
Correct.
So he might not have been in town when this call to action happened. He was somewhere else in the world when this whole town got taken out by a pack of undead people just because they wanted to strengthen their numbers. You know what I mean? So I can't show you that in the comic book with Jude St. Clair because it doesn't make sense for his story, but we can still explore all of this stuff. Like this one is conspiracy theories. So what people think broke death. So we see Jude kind of looking into it, but I let the fans just go off. Like I was like, you can say whatever you want. It could be crazy. It could be thoughtful. What do you think broke death? And I just shut up and let them talk. And what came out was really interesting. A lot of people said food. Some people said virus or vaccine or government, but most of them said food, like sugar and GMOs and water, you know what I mean? Like things that we ingest. So it was just really interesting. We actually filmed this prior to The Last of Us coming out where it was contaminated food. So it's interesting that, our fans were already thinking that way before Last of Us. I mean, Last of Us was a thing. It was just a video game. Not everybody was consuming it as media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct.
So, but yeah, that's those. Here's the QR code maze. This one's really fun. You should do this one, Nathan. It's a blast. It's just a bunch of QR codes that'll take you to different YouTube trailers and movies and clips. One of them is the Swedish chef making hot sauce because we had hot sauce in this campaign. It's just hilarious. Yeah. It's funny. So we have a sign language riddle. This one's cool too. You get to interact with one of the characters in the story, like they send you something in the mail. And then of course this is the first one. Yeah. And if you solve this, you get to find something out there in the interwebs. I won't say what. So
Ooh.
got lots of cool stuff. We got a ton of good books. We got all the covers available. Yeah, we got a sketch cover that if you want a higher level where Marco can actually sketch on it for you, that's
Mhm.
available too. This one right here. So you could get your own original Big James on the cover. I really would like to see some of those. Those would be great because those are just one of a kind. You know what I mean? They're all going to be different and original, and no one else will have them. So I just think that's super cool. I might get one for myself. Just kidding. Not from here. I'll
Well,
just
and the
ask
nice
Marco.
thing too is
Just
that
pay
they're
Marco
really
directly to have
reasonable.
him put it on mine. Because I'm getting a sketch cover
Marco,
too,
do
right?
this.
So I should be like, Marco. We have
Yep.
some people back in the Funko Pop. So this is the new one from last campaign. So I have one, and then the person who got Singularity last time has a Dwayne Fink Funko, but now's the chance for like 5 more people if they want to collect the Funkos are available. I think there's 3 left. These will go eventually. And then the new one is going to be Callie St. Clair, which is Jude's mom. This one's gone. Someone grabbed it. That was the first pledge. Someone grabbed it right away. So people
I
were
think
fighting over
though,
that one last time because it was Big James.
man, and the goal, for everyone that's on the channel today watching is that we want to see this get funded. So everybody needs to go out and pledge because right now we're sitting at 3123 with 53 backers, but we got 25 days to go. So I mean,
Mhm.
we've got some time, but we want to see this thing funded. So everybody,
Well, I don't know if people understand how exactly Kickstarter will help you. Because once you are considered funded, the algorithm on Kickstarter will push you to the front. So
Right.
more or people can find you more organically once you are funded, right? And now 45.50 is not enough for us to make a color issue.
Oh,
That's the original budget from issue number 1 when we ran a black and white issue. Okay. But we keep it the same because, again, it'll help us get to that number quicker. But we're really trying to push towards like 62 would be comfortable. 65 would be great. If we could do $7,000, that would be a miracle. And I would just cry my eyes out and be in a good place.
that's a
Yeah.
stretch goal. Then we need to make that a stretch goal. You
There,
crying on the thing for
oh, you want me to put it on there? I can be like, not only will you get an enamel pin, but I'll cry on a live for you.
exactly.
Yeah, but go through the page. You can see all the cool covers we have. I made some GIFs with previous issues, so it just goes kind of quick, but you can see what previous issues, and I'll tell you like a little synopsis, and then like the people who did variant covers for the issue. I still have variant covers left of 2 if anybody is interested. Once those are gone, those are gone. I'll probably, you know what? Those will probably all go at Cowtown. Never
Yeah, I was
mind.
gonna say they're all gonna go because I think I'm gonna grab Ken's from me when I go.
Yeah. Ken's, I mean, that one, and then freaking David Sanchez's cover on this one. Well, that one, Everett Watkins, William Russell, and David Sanchez, those 3, I was like, holy moly. Just incredible covers. Angelo Aquino's cover is kick-ass too. He's just not well known in this area like those guys are. But look at it. It's so good. It's so good. And then, of course, the new ones. We won't have these physically. We're still going to be Kickstartering and when we're at Cowtown. But people, please, that's a great place to pre-order your copy. And you can pick whatever you want. It's great, and then you guys are the first ones to get them. You don't have to wait to see me at Pastime. You don't have to wait to see me at Cowtown next year. I'll ship it right to you. That's the best place, And this is when we need the most help. This guarantees that we're able to keep producing comics. So it's important. It's important. We do have some really cool add-ons. I'm doing trucker hats just like this one in this campaign. So you can get one of those right here for $30. You get comics and a trucker hat. But you can always add it on. So if you want one of these bigger ones or you want to get the catch up because you haven't read anything yet, you can get that and add on a trucker hat. They're available. I have this Choose Your Own Adventure book, which is you have it, yes? Nathan?
Choose your adventure book? No.
Yeah, you don't have a choose your own adventure book? We're gonna
No.
fix that.
Yeah.
Because choose your own path will guarantee that you die a grisly death 99% of the time. If you are familiar with me and how I like to kill off characters,
Yep.
it's pretty grisly. You lose your head quite a few times. There's a big James in there. Oh yeah, there's lots of encounters, but you can get past physical copies, you can get signatures, you can add on the signatures there. That's different than last campaign because we had like some books were signed and some weren't, and it was getting really messy, people adding stuff on. So we just decided we're just going to keep it as an add-on. So if you want signatures, they're in the add-ons. You can do just me or just Marco or the both of us together. You can also get any of the previously unlocked poker cards. So like if you're new and you're in this campaign and you didn't get the King of Hearts, you can still get it as an add-on. It's like $1 and no ship. You know what I mean? So I just want you to have it so that way you have a complete deck of cards. So as we move forward, I will continue to keep adding on all the cards. It might get a little lengthy in that add-on section, but you can add on a poker card or 2 or 3 or whatever you need to make your deck, because that would suck if you were like, I got here and I'm missing 4 cards. Like, no, we're gonna make it so you can have them.
You know what we're gonna need? We're gonna need
what?
a box.
Yep,
a poker
the box. Yes. Don't worry about that. So the way I'm sending them now is in a card protector until we get enough to fill a box. And then I will have the box designed and we will mass produce the box and everybody can get that too. So trust me, it's coming. I also have this, and this is a secret. Hold on, I'm going the wrong way. So you see this? I have this in reverse. So there is a black deck with white lines. The red is the same, but the rest of it is opposite. So there is actually 2 decks of cards. So once we get the one completed, you can also order the second, just in reverse. I like to play international rummy. That takes 2 decks. So we needed to build 2 decks here.
I can play rummy and gin rummy, but I've never played international.
Ooh, international rummy. You have 12 cards in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, you need a lot of cards. So that's coming too. So you're the only person I've told that on your show. I've kept that a secret. So, but there is another deck of cards. So yeah, so we're just doing some fun stuff. Here's the closer look at the t-shirts. Everett Watkins designed these, and he has done several covers for me. I just didn't have a spot for him this time, so I was like, I need you to do something. So he did the 2 t-shirts, and I wanted graffiti looking t-shirts like it's the riots. So no pulse, no rights. So if you choose the living and you want the dead separated, get out. No pulse, no rights. You're done. And if you choose to be an undead sympathizer, it's dead outside, still human inside. That's the from the first short film. So that continues throughout this story as well. So you could pick one or the other. Both available. I might make myself a Big James sweatshirt, a big yellow sweatshirt. I'm excited for that.
I want that damn bear on the shirt.
Do you? Okay. I'm gonna make one for myself and see how people like it. And if there's enough people that want to do it, I'll throw it on the next campaign.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because making shirts is not cheap. I mean, people never use Teespring or anything like that. I mean, shirts are anywhere from $18 to $20 each at the smallest level. But when you start going bigger and bigger, and then you add shipping, that's why a shirt costs $30 to $35 sometimes.
Yeah, and that's why my bundles are $50, because you get comics, you get the PDF, and you get a T-shirt. And unfortunately, there just isn't a cheaper way to do it because they're expensive. But
that's how it is.
What can you do?
You got to pay to play.
Right. And it's like you can buy all the other T-shirts on my website still, because my T-shirt lady is amazing and she has all the previous shirts that we've done. So I've ordered, like this last campaign, one of my backers accidentally, she picked a level that had a T-shirt and then added on a T-shirt. And I was like, did you mean to have 2 shirts? And she was like, no, but you know what? I missed out on the T-shirt from last campaign. I did one of the Voodoo's with Ken Salinas' cover on it, right? She was like,
Mhm.
can I get one of those, what did she call it? Winnie the Pooh ones? I was like, the Voodoos? She was like, with the stuffies. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, that's cool. So I talked to my t-shirt lady and she made her one. So it's like, we can get all the previous shirts if you want them. The Jude BS one is hilarious. If you don't have that one, it's funny. So yeah, but here's the stretch goals. We have a giant indie PDF bundle. I love this because I always feel like with the physical stretch goals that the digital backers are left out, and they're backers too, and they deserve to be rewarded when we, hit stretches too. So that's why I always do this one, because it includes everybody. So there's 15 comics here that everybody will get when we pass 5,000, and we will. We've never been below 5,000, so we'll get there. So everybody will get this, even if you just back $5 in the campaign. I love you. It doesn't matter the dollar amount. You showing your support to me is what matters. And I have international backers. I was just talking to a guy from last campaign. He backed and he was like, hey, I don't think I got my indie bundle. I was like, probably went to your spam. Let me send it to you again. He's in Germany, right?
Mhm.
I don't ship physical to Germany. I don't know how. Like, I looked into VET's tax and I was like, screw this. This is complicated.
It's expensive. I do it.
Yes. And I was just like, I don't think I'm at that point yet. You know what I mean? To do that. So he gets the PDF every time and he loves it. He loves it, so he's really looking forward to this. So I was like, I make sure that people get it. And then of course I made all these koozies. These are done. I had a lot of fun making these. They're cool. I've got a bunch of different colors. I have these holographic vinyl ones in different colors. Yeah, they're awesome. I can't wait.
I like
The slice and
koozies.
dice. What's that? Do you have one?
I like koozies. I mean, I get that with some other campaigns, but you know what? The best thing it does, it keeps my coat cold.
That's right. And we are in Texas, and it's hot here all the time.
Good Lord, I'm so you know you're in Texas when it gets to 97 and you're happy.
Yeah, that's exactly. We're like, oh, it's only gonna be 95 tomorrow. My parents
Yeah.
were like, what? And I was like, it'll feel great. They're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, no. When it's been 106 for 2 months straight, 96 feels beautiful.
It
And it
does.
does.
Especially at nighttime. When nighttime gets down to about
Mhm.
70 to 75, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We have a pool, right? The water was 85 degrees. We went swimming just this week, my kids and I. We were like, oh, water's cold. We're so used to it being like 92 degrees in the pool. We got in and was like, it's freezing. I'm like, no, it's 85.
And that's what's nice about it. It's like, when it cools down, it finally cools down. It's like, man, this whole summer's been hot again. It wasn't as bad as last year. Last year was worse.
Yeah, it was.
Because we
Did
were
it start
from,
like June 1st? It was like 100. And I was like, why?
yeah,
It's so
already
gross.
100. And there's 115 days that we had. I was like,
Yep.
no, well, this needs to stop. And it didn't stop until September. Well, guess what? We're in September and it ain't stopped yet. But at least it ain't
It's
110.
like 95 still. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
But I'm watching
You
leaves fall. I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't right. 95 and the leaves are falling.
No. Yeah, they are falling though, which is weird. Do you want to watch my welcome video? Did I tell you what I did for this?
No, you did not.
Okay. So Ellie Brock, the character I played in the second short film, she's the reporter that was interviewing all the people, right? And got run over by a car.
Mm-hmm.
I decided that I was going to have my welcome video where I told people about the comic, but Ellie was going to join me. So I can show that to you if you like.
All right.
You ready? We really have no idea. I'm right now to Ellie. Hi everyone, I'm Laurie Calcaterra. I am the writer-creator of the all-new Western apocalypse comic book series, Path of the Pale Rider. What's this? Really? Apparently I'm going to be joined by recently deceased News reporter Ellie Brock from WDED Channel 13. Why are we? Hello, Ellie. How are you? I'm dead. How do you think I feel? But I'm sorry. Moving on. In Path of the Pale Rider, your body can die, but your soul or your energy doesn't leave your body upon death. Your brain rots in your skull, leaving you confused, yep, forgetful, totally, violent, not yet, or detached, whatever. Yeah. People, animals, insects, we're all stuck here together. There is no death, only decay. Did you tell them about Big James? Yeah, I didn't get that far. Big James is a giant undead bear, people. Can I finish? I would like... Oh, he is terrifying. Leave your eye alone. So in issue 1, we follow Jude St. Clair 10 years into the apocalypse. He meets Big James. Consequences! Issue 2, Jude St. Clair goes to the town of Santa Claus looking for information, and he picks a fight and consequences. Please stop doing that. Issue 3, we jump all the way back in time to the beginning, the day that Death went missing. And consequences. Yeah. I mean, I guess you can say that. It's just that I can't really show you too much of issue number 4 without spoilers because we're still dealing with what happened at the end of the last issue. What? You killed Jude? Ellie, I didn't say that. I can't believe you killed him off. That's your main character. This is how rumors get started. It's not. Who would do such a thing? What's wrong with you? My eye, it feels weird. Stop touching it. It's going to fall out. That would be funny. No, that would be disgusting.
That would be funny.
It will be funny. Our team on issue number 4 is our very own Mark Philo on pencils and inks, and of course Matt Chambers, who joined us on colors in the last issue. Ellie, do you want to tell people who the variant artists are? Lacey Kruger and William Russell, Lauren Gibson, and me. No, you didn't make a cover. No, the last cover is a sketch cover so that people can get their own original Big James from their favorite artist. I just wanted to feel... Oh dear God! Path of the Pale Rider is a fan interactive experience where there's a riddle on the back of every cover, and there are short films that enrich the story where you can interact with the world. You can find us just about everywhere. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, and all of our videos, our short films are on YouTube. If you want to participate in the shenanigans, I'm just gonna keep going here. New to the campaign are trucker hats. There's an updated surprise reward, and the new Funko Pop will be Callie St. Clair, which is, of course, Jude St. Clair's mom. Don't forget, we are building a poker deck in the stretch goals, so we're going to continue. We unlocked the King of Hearts last campaign, and I'm hoping that we could unlock like 2 or 3 cards this time. And if you're new to Path of the Pale Rider, don't worry. I always have a catch-up tier looking for the catch-up bottle. And that's where you can get caught up on everything that we've done so far.
Catch up.
I think that's it. Thank you in advance for your support. Thank you for supporting Indie. And Ellie, any last words you want to say? Chicken nuggets. I quit.
Ta-da.
That is good.
I have a blooper reel too. This one's funny. It's only a minute and 20 seconds.
News reporter Ellie Brock from WDED Channel 13. Are you okay? I'm okay. I don't have anything for this. No one prepared me for this. Consequences. That's a hot line. Someone get her out. Someone come get out. Please. Please. Uh-oh. Oh. Uh-oh. This one. Oh. Down here somewhere. I'll find it. I got it. Think you'll go back in. Whose idea was this? Bubbles! Back to you. Sugar. Sassafras. Country music. Peas and carrots. Caramel corn. Maple syrup. Back to you. Someone come get out. Thank you. I had fun with that one.
I like how you edited it in, kind of like you have a split screen between both you and her, you know, and you have to push her in, and you get pushed, and then you pulled her right back out. And that was good.
Oh, my husband was helpful with that. I was like, hey, y'all. First of all, I was putting on the zombie makeup. I waited till like hair's nasty. I didn't have anything. I was like first thing in the morning. I dropped the kids at school and like mess up the hair some more and put on like extra makeup to make myself look just disgusting. And he walks in and he's just like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm making a video today. And he was like, looking like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a zombie. And he was like, all right, that's great. Like, it's just Tuesday now. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going to need your help for things. And he's like, of course you do.
Hey, that's what everybody's there for. They're to help out.
Right. It's not the worst thing I've asked him to do. I did have him run me over with the car. So
that was good.
Yeah, there's movie magic to that. We were 100% safe. I guarantee you. Because you film it backwards is what happened.
Exactly.
So I'm on top of the car and he backs out of the scene and I jump off and turn around and smile at the camera, right? And then you just reverse the film. So I'm like, whoop, and then out of the shot. So that's how you do it without actually getting hit by a car.
That is nice. Yeah, because that's the thing is like video. Like, you know, of course, I do video editing for the channel.
Oh yeah.
And it's such a pain, like when you're trying to get things like, especially when things are like backwards, and you're like, this don't look right, you know?
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Like even on here, you can have this backwards, literally, if you don't set up your settings right, you know. So it's like, I remember one time it was like this, like halfway through, I'm like, doing that, and I'm like, why is this doing this? And it was one of those StreamYard, you know, debacles. They're like, oh, we don't know what happened. Reset it and start it over. I'm like, yeah, you can't do that when you're live.
No. Like, let me just stop the live stream and start it again, everybody. No, that's not how it works, everybody. No.
So I got a couple final questions for you before we head out, because it's already 9:30 our time.
Yeah, it
is. So we've got 4 coming. You know, it's live right now.
Yes.
You see yourself working with anybody else on a different story or on something else differently, or having artists or different kind of expansions other than just Path of the Pale Rider?
You already know the answer to this.
Yeah, but the users might not know this.
I was like, I am writing 3 issues of William Russell's Psycho Sal, which is amazing. For people that are not familiar with that series, it is a 80s slasher. It's a serial killer functioning in New Orleans in the 80s, right? And I love what William did with it, because issues 1, 2, and 3 are told from the perspective of this homicide team, the FBI, the agents that are trying to track this guy down. And he's super elusive because he doesn't have a pattern. He is leaving clues, but he's super hard to find, right? So they're struggling to find him. And now in issue number 4, the homicide detectives are still there, but the story is being told from the perspective of a female victim. So you get to see how she is tormented by Psycho Cell before he takes her, and kind of the results of what happens after. We've gotten snippets of it, but you don't get to see how terrifying he is and what he's doing to set it up. You know what I mean? So that's what we're dealing with in 4, 5, and 6. And now 4 is written 4 is complete. We kickstarted that. It was hugely successful.
Yep.
I think we're just waiting on fulfillment. I think it's done.
Yeah.
And then 5, I think he's ready to Kickstarter 5 soon.
Yeah. He
The
was.
art is in production. I think it's almost done. I've seen bits and pieces
Mhm.
of it. It looks great. And so then I get to write 6. Hey, what's up?
PCN.
And I'm really excited about that. I just found out Chris Hayes is coming back to write 7, 8, and 9. So I might weasel my way in there.
Ah.
I was like, I would really like to help with that because 7, 8, and 9 is going to be from Psycho Sal's point of
Sal's,
view,
yeah.
right? So I think Chris and I should write it together and we could wrap it up because it would be so nice to see everything come to fruition that there's planned. So it's gonna be mind F. I don't want to say the word, but it's gonna be a wild ride. And when you're at the end, you're just gonna be left in shock and awe. I can guarantee you that much. So there's that one. I did pick up another series. I don't know if you're familiar with Rich Parada. He
Mhm.
is he was an inker for the Batman series with DC in the 90s. And he has a couple of creator-owned series as well. One is The Roaring, which is finally wrapping up. He had to get a colorist. He just got too busy. And then he has this other series called Incantessi, which he had completed 1 and 2. And then this is common with artists. They have this idea for a story, and it's probably really good. They just don't know how to flesh it out and make it cool and interesting and twisty,
Mhm.
exciting and dramatic and all that stuff, right? And so he was like, Laurie, can you please help me? And I was like, absolutely. You know what I mean? So he and I sat down and we went through like the canon of what he has already written. And I'm going to be writing for him as well. So his first arc is 6. Yes, it is 6 issues. So he is 2 done, and I picked up at 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I wrote an additional season of another 6 issues that will close it out. So a lot of writing coming up in the future, which is exciting. And then of course I wear all the hats for Path of the Pale Rider. So if stuff gets done there, I'm doing it.
And that is awesome. And the reason why I asked that because you said you had 36 issues of Path of the Pale Rider.
Yeah.
So that's a long time. That's going to be a long time. It's
A long
trying to
time.
get. If we're doing say 2 issues a year, maybe 3
Hopefully
max.
3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to that amount, okay, you're still talking years, to
Yes.
get
Yes, we
the
are.
series done. But there's always that next thing, the next thing, and what else am I going to do after this is over? And then what
Oh,
it
I have
does
other
is,
series. I have other series that like the agency that I wrote for the short form
yep,
production could very easily be turned into a comic book series. And those would be real fun because it's like real action heavy with some lots of twists and turns. And yeah, so that's I think 6. The arc is only 6 issues. It's not as big as Path of the Pale Rider. Like I said, that one was like it's a full length movie that we're breaking up into the first arc, and that's 12 issues, but it doesn't end there. So it's basically 3 movies. Mm-hmm.
so it's a good trilogy of time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe eventually we'll see it on the screen. That would be a dream come true. Even if it was animated, that would be awesome. Can you imagine the studio that does Castlevania, that cartoon
yeah,
on Netflix?
it looks
I
good.
would love to see Path of the Pale Rider drawn like that. Oh, he's like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you missed the whole show, brother.
Yeah, it's like we're an hour and 38 minutes in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to catch back up from the beginning. So the big thing I've seen is net animated gives you some, I'm gonna say, leeway, compared to
Yes.
normal, because this is a horror based book, and it's got elements of mystery and intrigue into it. So animated might be the best route because as well as I do, you start trying to do practical effects for some of the stuff that's been done in the comic, that budget would be freaking crazy.
It would be an incredibly big budget. And you don't even know some of the bigger things that are coming. They're
Correct.
huge. It would be like Game of Thrones level money to make this thing. We have giant battles in the desert, like Mad Max style. It's hordes of zombies. big martial arts and explosions. I blow a bunch of things up. It's all coming. I can't wait. I keep telling everybody it was issue 7, but then we combined, it was issue 8. It is now issue 7 because we combined 2 issues, which is the one that you're getting now. It used to be 4 and 5, but we combined them into 4. So we're going to get to that a little quicker. So it's issue number 7. Trust me, when we get to 7, it's going to blow your mind wide open. It's no turning back. Oh, good. I like that you like zombies. I do too. I read a Western horror. You missed the whole thing, but my whole series is like, what would happen if death broke? So your body would die, but your soul doesn't leave. So you can rot in your body. It's gross. Yeah, go check it out, man. Go watch the welcome video with me and myself and I.
It's fun. It's going to be a blast.
I was like, I need something gory to happen. It was like, in every welcome video I do, there's either been zombies or like I got mauled by Big James in one and pulled out of the screen. And like,
that was good though.
That one was funny.
Dragged.
Yeah, when my husband dragged me out screaming, that was funny. Last one I didn't have any antics, but I did have like a bloody nose on set. That was fun. I had one of my discs on and I was talking, and then at the end I was just like, bleh.
It turns red.
Yeah, it was red, and I put my head back and I put like the fake blood up my nose, and I started talking and waited for it to just like bleh. I was like, my carpet.
Your poor carpet.
I was like, I put down a towel, but I must have misjudged where to put the towel. My carpet. Yeah. My husband wasn't happy.
Oh, I bet he wasn't happy.
It's like, what are you doing? Nothing. Club soda.
You might need the spot bot today.
Yep, I needed the spot bot. It came out though.
See, I can't do that with my kids. We got 5 here, and there's always going to be. That's why we don't have carpet for that reason.
No, only upstairs. Our downstairs is all tile. So next time I'll do it on the tile.
That cleans up a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. Well, this has been fun, man. Thank you. Thank you for the deep dive. We had a good old time.
We did. We always do. Thank you, Laurie, for being here. I appreciate it. You know, we met a while back, so it's nice to actually get you on the channel, be able to see everything, see where you come from, what you've done. That's why we call these creator spotlights, because it's all about you. It's all about what you did and where you've been, where you're going. And it's just to give you kind of your limelight, you know, that you sometimes don't get. You know, it's like you guys do amazing work, and I appreciate it. And anytime I can push you guys more, I'm going to do it, because we're an indie family. This is what we do. We take care of each other.
Absolutely. And I appreciate all of that. This was great. I look forward to seeing you at Cowtown. You're going to be there, right?
I will be there with bells on.
Perfect.
I talked to Chris, and he's already got everything situated for me there. So I'll be there and get to go see everybody from Charter, and there's gonna be a lot of people there. I saw the guest list. There's a lot of people, like even Cullen Bunn's gonna be there too. Yep. And I haven't seen him in probably 15 years.
Wow.
And because some guys just don't go everywhere. But we're gonna have the whole Charter crew there. So that's what I'm really going for, is you guys to be there, because I don't get to see all of y'all.
I know, all of us together in one spot. That's the thing, because we're all kind of spread out. And we do different shows at different times because life, right? Yep. But to have us all together, that's going to be a blast. I think I'm going to be by David Sanchez.
Okay, you're going to go next to Dave.
Yeah, so him and I are going to have a blast, whether he likes it or not.
And anytime you can see Zach with his hat on is always a great day. That hat is money. And
I'm looking forward to seeing what Keith is going to be wearing. That sweater. Like, I need to know if he's going to wear that Golden Girls sweater again.
He's got to. He's got it. Was monumental last time.
It was. I know. Him and his wife cracked me up, and then William will be there, so I get to harass William.
And it's fun. We probably won't see much of Chris or McLean because they're going to be so busy with the convention, like they always are. But just as like as a promotion for those guys. Hey, come out, check out Cowtown. It's going to be here in a couple weeks on the 30th and on the 1st of October. Tickets still available for that one. So definitely, and it's done out in Fort Worth. Easy. It's one of the easiest conventions you can go to. And guess what, folks? It's a comic convention. It's not a celebrity convention. This is all about comics, and we have some cosplayers there as well. DJ V is going to be there. I've seen her every time, and she does great as Lady Death every time she shows up. Every year it's different too. So everybody come on out. Come see Laurie. Come see Charter. Come see everybody.
Come get comics. Come get hot sauce. I got a couple bottles left. That's been selling more than anything. That was like, hot sauce. We're making this every time, I guess. People love the hot sauce. I'll have the koozies. I have all the books in stock. I have everything. So come see me. I think Marco will be there as long as he can get himself a table at this point. But like you'll be able to see me and like William and Ken Salinas. We're all going to be there. So
yeah. Cool. And I talked to Rick, and Rick said he's trying to come out too. So I'm like, dude, you better come. If he comes out this time, I'm just going to sit there with books all day.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is when you get everybody together, it's nice to get signatures, and stuff like that. Because I'm a raw guy. I don't do slabs hardly at all, because I actually take my books and read them. But I tell you 100% digital helps out a lot, because if you don't want to open up and crack those books, digital is easy to read on your phone anywhere in the world. So
yep. And that's why I always do that. My bundles on my Kickstarter are always PDF and physical copy. I think I have one option where you can do physical only, and it's a little bit cheaper, because some people are purists and they just want to read the book. Fine, have the book. But if you don't want to open the book because it's signed, here's your PDF as well. Plus you get to read it a little bit quicker if you get both, because you can read the PDF on your tablet or your phone. Now, when the book comes, you can appreciate the pages. You know what I mean? But we release the PDF as soon as my editor okays everything, Rachel, and then it goes to print. So, but people can enjoy it from the get.
Definitely. Well, Laurie, it's been a pleasure having you on the channel today. Thank you so much for coming out. We'll definitely do it again. We'll do it anytime you have a Kickstarter coming up. We'll jump back in, do that. We'll have fun. Oh, and wanted to plug too. She has her own show as well on Facebook on Tuesdays. Typically, it's the podcast over on their side. I don't ever get to watch it because I'm at work.
You're at work.
But I do want to promote that as well, as you do have yours as well.
Yeah, it's called the Tuesday Morning Brew. It's on the Madness Comic Network. We have a blast. I interview indie people as well. I'll do panel shows. I do launch parties. I do my slice and dice there. We do all sorts of fun. All right, see you later.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I do too. I enjoy it.
We all have fun. All right. Well, everybody on YouTube land, you guys have a good night. And y'all take it easy. And I'll see you on the next one. All right.